Hello everyone. Welcome. We are going to be talking today about workflows in Jira. So I did a video a while back on workflows in Jira. That's like an overview that gives you a good understanding as to what it is. But this video is going to be really detailed to help you structure your workflows to have the better chance of success. I'm going to be sharing with you the workflow steps I've used that I have found to be very efficient that you can literally plug and play into your organization to help you be efficient as well. So this will be great for people who are working as business analysts, scrum master, product manager, project managers, just to give you an idea of how you should be structuring your workflows to make sure you have the best visibility to know exactly what's going on in the sprints, to know where each store is at, and to help you get to a successful release or end of sprint. All right. So I'm going to share with you very impactful, very useful information in this video, but you can get a lot more in depth if you go do the courses that I have for you on the Business Analyst Training Hub. So go check that out. I'll put the link below. So for anyone who is completely new to Jira, I have a video that introduces Jira. For this video, we're just going to focus on the workflow, okay? So right now we are in the board view. If I switch over to the backlog view, I have a few stories here. Let's say I click on this story right here. Scroll down a little bit. If I click on this story, which is just here for testing purposes, you can see that we have the status right here for the workflow. And I only have to do in progress and done because that's the default that comes with Jira when you open a new project and you don't have a workflow already set up, right? So here's what they have. But maybe you need more. Maybe in progress is not enough for you to know exactly what is in progress. Is it the QA in progress? Are you about to deploy? Are you still coding? Like, what exactly does in progress mean? And done could be various stages of done. It could be a definition of done. It could be that you've released it to production or it's just being deployed. It could be various things. So this is good, but it's just not enough. How do we flesh this out some more to make it a more efficient process so you can always look at your sprint and know exactly what's going on? That's what we're going to be doing right now. So if we click on view workflow, so this is what you get by default in Jira. But let's say I want to create my own workflow, then I click on edit workflow here so I can add some additional steps. Okay. So let's close this right here and let's start. Let's put the start way over here because we'll need some space to add our additional steps. So let's say in this workflow, I need to add another to-do status. So we can have to-do statuses, in progress statuses, done statuses, and transitions, right? And there could be rules. But let's start off because right now it says to do, and any status can go to do, any status can go to in progress, any status can go to done. But I don't want to do that. I want to say when I first come into a user story, it's created with default as to do. So when you create a user story, it's going to have a to do status. Fine. Now I'm going to create another status, which is going to be, I'm going to call this AC ready. Sorry, let's call this AC ready. And what this will say is it'll say that once I have a to-do status, then I also have an AC ready status. And what that means is that I have had discussions and I've actually updated the acceptance criteria or talked about the acceptance criteria, and it's good. The acceptance criteria for the story is good. It's basically the work in progress for the business analyst, right? And I don't want, well, maybe any status can go to AC ready for now. And I want to show that the status should go from to do to AC ready. So let's join those with a transition. And I'll call this transition AC reviewed. Okay, great. So now I have this to do status that has AC ready. All right, let's do that. Now let's make it a little bigger so you can see the transition name. Now once my AC is ready, the next thing would be it's ready to go into the sprint. This is my definition of ready, okay? Now when it gets dragged into the sprint, that's when they'll change it to in progress. So let's do that. Actually, I think we might need some space. I'm going to try to space it out. So you go from AC ready to in progress, right? So I'm going to see if I can transition it from here. So this means that work or coding has started, right? Oh, let's do work started. Or let's call it coding started, because typically you're writing code. It could be a research ticket, it could be whatever, but or maybe it should be added to sprint. Let's do that. Let's call it added to sprint, because it could be coding, could be something else. That's what that transition means, that you're in a sprint, you're working on it. Looks kind of weird, so I'll try to maybe do that. Okay. Now once it goes in progress, the next thing, and I don't want it to go to in progress from any status. Well, maybe I do. Let's leave it there for now. Now, once it's in progress, then the options it can be is maybe you've finished writing the code. So you need to create an in progress step that says, let's say maybe PR ready. This is for the code review. Let's do PR ready, add, and then let's make a transition from in progress to PR ready, and we call that ready for code review. We could just say code review, coding completed. That might be a better case. And then once it's in PR ready and they review it, then they can deploy it, right? Let's say you deploy it to a testing environment. So let's put another in progress step. That's going to be called deploying. Okay. What happened there? I need to uncheck allow issues in any status to move to this status. Okay. Good. So, and also the same for deploying. I don't want any status to go there. It only needs to come from PR ready. So you're saying only when the code is reviewed do I want it to be deployed. Okay. And that's what you do right there. So now you deploy your code reviewed code. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make it QA ready. So let's create another status that says QA ready. What that means is it's now in the testing environment. So QA, go do your thing. Go and test to make sure that what we said we're going to build, we've actually built it. So I'm going to connect with the transition from deploying to QR ready, which says, okay, the code has been reviewed. We're now ready to test. And I don't want this to come from anywhere, okay? It should only be QA ready. Well, there could be there could be instances where you'd want it to be from any status, but I'm going to remove it for now. If we need it, we can add it later. It says QA ready. Once the QA is tested, they can have two things that they could do. They could say that the issue didn't pass the test. So in other words, it's QA rejected. And they could either create a bug or they could contact the developer and say, hey, you know what? The code didn't work as it was expected. So that would be a QA rejected status. Or they could say, hey, you know what? This is perfect. This works great. And let's just get this to definition of done, right? So we could say done right here. So you could go from QA ready to rejected, or you could go to done. And done could be your final status. You could move anything to done without going through all the different statuses. But I mean, we need to review again to make sure that we're not creating a mess. So there's done. But I also like to have another done status called released. So let's get another one called released, because in my environment, when it's done, it doesn't mean that it's in production. It means that it's already completed, and then we'll decide when we want to actually release it to the environment. So I'll create this new done status called released, and then I will let it go from done to released. Let's draw that transition line, and that it's like it's tested in production, or it's available in production actually. All right. Now I have this transition going on from done to released. And then what I can do here is I need to say that this does not have any status. It has to come from done. You can't just make something released like that. So I want to do that way. And that is the end of my process. So as you can see, to create this workflow, it's pretty easy in Jira. Of course, there's more you can do. And when you're done here, you got to click on Update Workflow. And I want to update it with all of these issue types in Jira. And when I save it, when I go back to my project, which I'm not going to go back to the project right now because this is a real project and I can't share everything with you. When I go back to my project, I'll be able to see the transitions showing every time I look at the status drop down for my user stories. Okay? All right. Well, I hope you guys found this useful. Take care.